When I first heard that Microsoft was going to get in the video game business, it was pretty much like the same thought I had when I first heard Sony was going to get in the video game business. I was like, oh, what do those guys know about video games?
I figured it wasn't really that interesting to me, to be perfectly honest, because I already had my Nintendo, I already had my PlayStation.
Well, Microsoft isn't a name that you would usually associate with video games. You know, they make Windows, they make Office, they make boring business people stuff.
Are they making a PC that just has a console, or like a controller port you can plug into, or what? And actually, that's kind of what it ended up being, even though they kept saying to the contrary.
Up to the point when Microsoft came to the Consumer Electronics Show that year, the year that we all expected to really get our first look at the Xbox and what it was going to do and what it was going to be. Up to that point, it had all been rumor and speculation, of course, and then we had heard rumors going into that thing that they were going to have The Rock there, and it was like, what is The Rock going to do with the Xbox?
So it was kind of a big question mark. It wasn't until The Rock walked out that I knew that the Xbox was going to be something special.
He's like, yeah, Xbox, right on. So I don't know. That whole thing just kind of seemed set up and weird, but at the same time, it definitely felt different. It felt different than anything we'd seen Sony do at that point. It felt different, obviously, than anything we'd seen Nintendo do at that point.
Well, not a whole lot of information given right up front, but they did kind of show kind of what they were all about, did the whole tech demo thing, and that stuff looked sharp at the time, so it was kind of easy to start to get excited about the system right then.
The first real concrete memories I have about the Xbox was being at that year's Game Developers Conference in San Jose when they were kind of unveiling the whole idea and the whole thing to game developers. And they take the wraps off this thing, and it's this giant silver box, and I'm like, that's not really gonna be what I'm putting in my living room, is it?
I remember seeing at E3, when the year that they announced the Xbox, they had a prototype, and it was actually shaped like an X. And I remember that we knew that it wasn't the real deal because they said the disk drive couldn't even fit on it because it was shaped like an X. But there was still this incredible line all around E3 of people just, I guess, amazed and wondering like what the deal was with the Xbox. And so they just wanted to see this ridiculous fake version of it.
Right before the launch of the Xbox, we had publishers in with Xbox debug units showing off their games, and it was, these were the launch games. These were like the first batch of games coming out for the Xbox, and we both kind of had the same questions for each other at some point. They would ask me, so what do you think about this thing? I mean, not just our game, but I mean, what have you been seeing on it? And at the same time, I had the questions like, so what do you guys think about making games for this thing? And the thing I kept hearing was like, we have to be there at launch because obviously they've built up enough hype to where they're going to sell a lot of Xboxes right at launch. But as far as past that, we're not so sure. So everyone was still kind of taking a wait-and-see approach with the Xbox, even after it had already come out.
Just in physical terms, obviously the Xbox is a pretty imposing presence. It's several times bigger than a GameCube or a PS2 probably. The thing weighs a ton. It's just this giant black kind of monolith.
My reaction when I first saw the Xbox was, that is an American console, damn it, because it's big, it's clunky, and it's angry.
Actually, the size of the system didn't bother me, like not the size of it, but I did think it was damn ugly.
There was this part in the manual that said something about caution, it might hurt a child if it falls on it. I think that was sort of the metaphor for the Xbox, was the danger it might fall and kill your child.
I was also really irritated about the original controller design.
It was like they took the Dreamcast controller and then made it just vastly inferior.
Microsoft, this American company that's developing an American game console, has got this American-sized controller.
I didn't like the buttons, I didn't like the way it felt on my hands, I didn't like the analog sticks.
So they did kind of quickly release that smaller Japanese-style S controller.
To me, the broadband-only thing for the Xbox seemed a little crazy at the time.
I mean, I think it was the right move, but I think it also kind of alienated a lot of people.
It let Microsoft kind of just like narrow their focus on getting that kind of broadband market.
It might have been a year or two earlier for something like that if they really wanted to get the most number of people to be playing their games online, but then there weren't really any Xbox Live games at all for the whole first year of the system's life.
I thought it was genius that they included a hard drive. I mean, that was just something consoles didn't do up to that point, and You just look at Xbox games compared with, any, like, in a multi-platform game on Xbox compared with PS2 or GameCube. It's just like load times are always faster, the saves are always, there's more save room on the hard drive. It's just a brilliant thing.
Another instance I remember is before the Xbox was out, Microsoft brought Halo by. We're pretty skeptical guys, and we play games on all platforms. So if you show up in the office and say, check out this first-person shooter, it's not immediate cause for us to like go, and start tearing our hair out.
When I saw my friends playing Halo and, I saw videos of people jumping the Warthog and stuff, I really started to see where this was going and that it was going to be pretty big.
After the fact, word kind of got back to me through, higher-ups here that he was not amused, that we were not freaking out because he felt that he was showing us the revolution in gaming, the greatest game ever made with Halo.
I love the setting of that game. I love the feel of it.
It was definitely kind of a weird disconnect in kind of the expectations that Microsoft initially had about their games and kind of what the reality was.
It was a sci-fi shooter that was fun and funny and a lot of action and purple blood. It was great.
In the end, of course, Halo turned out to be an amazing game, but you show someone 10 minutes of it before it's done, it didn't automatically look like the next big thing.
See, actually, the Xbox launch lineup I thought was generally pretty strong. There were a few kind of nasties in there, as there always are.
I remember playing Fusion Frenzy, and I remember trying so hard to like that game, and it was just bad. It was bad.
Every time you saw Fusion Frenzy, be it at Microsoft's GameStop event for the press, or right before it came out, it was like every step of the way there was someone affiliated with Microsoft saying, this is Bill Gates' favorite game for the Xbox.
But yeah, I'll admit it, Fusion Frenzy, that was where it was at. It was like me and 3 of my friends running through that thing. It was like kind of a cute version of the Running Man, so I'm into that kind of.
It was like, well, we got Lorne Lanning to make this Oddworld game for us exclusively, or, this driving game, Project Gotham is going to, blow away anything you saw on the Dreamcast with the MSR series, or, Halo is the next big thing in gaming, and Fusion Frenzy, well, that's Bill Gates' favorite Xbox game. It was just weird.
Games that came out in the first year of the Xbox, actually the one that I probably remember most fondly would actually be Splinter Cell.
Seeing Sam Fisher look all crazy realistic, creeping all over the shadows and stuff like that, coming up and jacking people. No, that game definitely looked pretty cool.
Because of the whole light component and staying in the shadows, that game really built itself on the graphics, which was the perfect thing to accentuate the Xbox for me. And I think that Splinter Cell was really the game that sold me on the Xbox for real.
Some of my first thoughts when I first heard about Xbox Live was that they were going to have a hard time convincing people to pay a subscription to be on it.
I don't like paying for stuff.
I had my PlayStation 2 sitting there. I'm pretty sure at that point, I had a broadband adapter for it. So me not having to pay for online games, then all of a sudden having to pay for online games, kind of a crazy concept.
When I actually saw the service and saw what it could do and just sort of like the way it was kind of standardized across all games, I realized, wait, no, this is the way to do it.
Okay, so the Xbox Live games that I've played the most are all racing games, I think. It's Project Gotham Racing 2, MotoGP 2.
ESPN, NFL football. For me, that was where I was at. It was like football online on the Xbox. With that, I was done.
I think Xbox Live definitely gives the Xbox an edge where multi-platform games are concerned.
It kind of gives you this designated feature set. Like, it's just a checklist that developers can go down and say, all right, we have this, and this implemented. It's all there for you.
Yeah, I've definitely bought Xbox games, not because they have better graphics, but just purely because I can play them online.
The sad thing about Xbox Live was for so long, there was just a business deal or whatever it was holding up the fact that I couldn't play my EA Sports games on Xbox Live.
I think EA didn't want to give up any measure of control.
They were one of the only companies that held out, just like not releasing their games with decent online stuff.
Do you know the drama that ensued when Fight Night came out? and I couldn't play that game online on the Xbox.
It worked fine on the PS2. It was what it was.
I'm crazy. I want to be able to play both versions online and,
Then they said, oh, well, people are actually playing games on the Xbox now. Maybe we should, get in on this. But then they just they decided that, but we're going to keep these lobby systems that we had, and we're going to keep doing the same kind of the EA Sports Locker and the matchmaking and all that stuff.
Burnout 3 is like the one that I'll always remember, because it was like, that was a game that everybody was really stoked to be playing online, And they took Xbox Live and they just messed it up.
They tried to put too much of their own spin on it, and it just didn't work so well.
Like the friends list didn't work properly. Like it was impossible to get into games without like long wait times. I think it even had like an outdated kind of lobby system, right? It was just nasty.
Just use the interface. Just all I want is a create a match, opt a match, friends list. That's all I need. Give me downloadable content on top of that? Great, fantastic. I don't need any of this other stuff.
Halo 2, Xbox Live, you know, what they did with the whole crazy player matching thing, so you're always in a game with, you know, competitive people that aren't either going to destroy you or be too easy for you. That was pretty cool.
I've barely touched the single player game, but I played it quite a lot online for like maybe a couple of months, so I was pretty much obsessed with it. I don't know why it's so huge.
Well, maybe you heard of a little game called Halo. Halo 2, the sequel. Halo sold like 1 billion copies, so Halo 2, probably gonna sell at least a few, right?
I'm not playing Halo 2 on Xbox Live.
I don't know the whole thing with Halo 2. You know, I played Halo 1, I liked it. It was a first-person shooter, you know, that was kind of my take on it.
Halo 2 is boring. I think it's, I think there's no heart in Halo.
I think most of the people who play it, I mean, surely a lot of these guys have access to PCs, right? And first-person shooters on PC are generally way better.
Halo 2's multiplayer is undeniably awesome, but at the same time, most of the people playing Halo 2 online are jackasses, and I really don't want to deal with that. And, you know, so after that, you're left with a 10-hour single-player experience that is pretty good, but man, does that game end horribly.
Xbox Live is kind of known for the pre-adolescent kind of trash-talking little kids.
Well, they don't like my mother, you know? They have real problems with Mrs. Ekberg a lot. Especially when I win races, my mom just gets, they just cuss at my mom, and my mom's nice.
People who sing on Xbox Live are the most irritating people on earth.
But you do have to wade through a lot of crap on Xbox Live.
Dude, man, you're so gay. You're so gay. Oh, you're a girl? Dude, you're so hot. Oh my God, you're so hot. Talk to me, baby. Go on. And then I mute them.
The games I play now on my Xbox every night, Burnout Revenge and Fight Night Round 2.
Burnout's just a game that is so damn fast.
Both those games to me do show in a lot of ways the power of the Xbox now.
Just the graphical clarity is higher on the Xbox. When it comes to a game like Burnout, where you're trying to like narrowly avoid traffic, seeing as far ahead as possible, as cleanly as you possibly can, is probably the most important thing in the entire game.
I don't think it's really strange that Microsoft has fans, because I think the generation of people that grew up hating Microsoft and loving their Macs, I think that was them.
It's always easy to just kind of pick on the giant company that everyone perceives to be this big monopoly swallowing up other little companies, or you know, whatever they're accusing them of this week.
People have brand loyalty, whether it's here or anywhere else in the world.
I don't think it's odd, because when people buy consumer products, there's often a buy-in also emotionally.
You know, you have people that are definitely out there defending the Xbox and defending Microsoft now as a result of you know, having great experiences on the Xbox.
I like Microsoft for making the Xbox. I like Sony for making the PS2. Those are the closest reasons I have to liking those companies at all, so I think it fits.
I definitely think the system is ending too soon.
There's no like legitimate reason for it beyond the fact that they're trying to get the jump on the other consoles.
But I'm not done playing Xbox games.
I still have a pile of probably 20 Xbox games that I've bought and haven't touched yet.
And as a result, actually, I will not be buying an Xbox 360 at launch.
I don't necessarily think that it's being, you know, killed off too soon or whatever. I mean, if Microsoft and all the developers feel that there's some great new experiences that are ready to be had right now that they need this new hardware to do, then I say bring it on.
What's it going to do for the visual quality? What's it going to do for the physics, artificial intelligence?
I'm not seeing a whole lot of games that I'm like, oh man, I got to buy this system for that game.
You're still going to see driving games. You're still going to see first-person shooters. You're still going to see your boxing games, your fighting games, your RPGs.
For me, like, my Xbox is good for at least another 12 months.
The capabilities of that system hardware-wise are really impressive. You know, what they're talking about doing with the new Xbox Live model, that sounds really cool.
Custom soundtracks will be integrated at the chip level, so every game will have it, and you can, you know, talk to people on the headset while they're playing an entirely different game as you are. how is all that stuff going to work, and does any of that stuff really matter?
I'm excited for the Xbox 360. I'm just not necessarily excited for the Xbox 360 launch.
I just want games to continually improve and get better, hopefully in ways beyond just looking slightly prettier.